Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about hate in relationships. So many times when we have these interactions and we have someone who's very close to us, the feeling of hate comes up. And when it does, we feel it and then automatically we try to discard it because we think that makes us bad. We don't understand it most of the time. And that is why I wanted to explain what in general feelings, emotions are about and what hate is about, because it's not really bad. It's telling you something, you just haven't understood what it's telling you. So first of all, when it comes to emotions and feelings, they are not of the rational. When they come up, they talk to you in their own specific language, and it comes through symbols, images, it's sensations in the body. They talk in a completely different way. They're of a different realm, if you wish. And so when you try to understand them through the rational mind, which is a very specific way of understanding things, it's very specific logic, you misunderstand them. Why? Because it's like trying to listen to music and employing your eyesight to experience music. It's the same thing. You will complete. I mean, you will see the orchestra. You will see the people playing their things or whatever. But you want to be able to understand to experience the music, because you're like this, in that moment. You're employing this part, your eyesight. You're employing the wrong organ, right? And so it's the same thing with emotions and feelings. They come in a very specific way. So as I said, through the irrational, right? In an irrational way, not a rational, not So they'll come through body sensations, images. They take you back to certain very specific moments, experiences in your life. And through that, they're telling you a story. And what they're telling you is that they're telling you a certain truth about yourself. When you get that truth and you start taking the necessary steps based on that truth, the emotion, the feeling goes away. It has nothing to do. It's done its job and it's out. It's think about hunger. It's the same thing. Hunger also comes in. It's not going to explain to you in English that you need to eat. It's going to come through body sensations, and you'll understand it because you know it. And so what it's telling you is that you need nourishment. So you don't get rid of hunger, right? Because it's telling you an information. You can, live your life. You can do other things, and suddenly your body tells you you're hungry, right? Hunger comes up. And then you know that in that moment you take in that information, and then you go towards food. And if you go into the subtleness of hunger, you'll start seeing that it's even going to tell you what types of food you need, what types of ingredients you need in that moment, right? So it goes till there. So it's a friend, it's an ally. It's the same thing with emotions, feelings, and it's the same thing with hate. So now let's go to hate. What does it really mean? Hate is that feeling that comes up, that when you look at that person in front of you, you want them to hurt. That's hate, right? The first moment, that's the information that you're getting. I want them to hurt. And so that's when usually people cut themselves off from hate, and they start hyper-rationalizing, justifying themselves, etc., etc., because they take it literally. And so they don't go deeper. They cut themselves off from themselves. And this is because most of us believe that the truth is bad. The truth about ourselves is just horrible. Most of us believe that, so we don't go in and investigate. And so, excuse me. So when that hate comes in, we don't go further. And we take it, we put it we shove it down into the shadows, into the dungeons of our unconscious, right? And there it festers. Because imagine that you didn't listen to your hunger cues. What will happen is that maybe for a moment you won't feel it, but it will come up. And maybe there's something missing. There's an ingredient, there's some vitamin or whatever that's missing. And that will show up. So you see, it festers. It's the same thing with this. There's something there that you've been told. There's a truth there that you're not seeing. And if you don't see it, well, you don't take into account something that is important for you. So when you start looking at hate, when you start really looking into its eyes and starting to understand it, what will happen is that you will see that the first thing is that you're seeing out, right, outside of you. So you're seeing that you want that person to hurt. As you see that, when you start going into yourself and investigating and really wanting to see what is happening, you will understand that in that moment, you're actually hurt yourself. There's a hurt in you that you're not aware of. And when you connect with that hurt, automatically you'll start understanding that the fact that you want them to hurt is not because you want them to hurt. It's not personal. These emotions, feelings are never personal. It's never about the other person, never. But what you're through that image, what you're telling yourself is that you are looking for that person to understand your hurt. So you're looking for empathy. And empathy means that you are looking for someone who knows that hurt. And because they know that hurt, they can come, as Brené Brown says, they can come down to your level, to where you are at, and feel into you, and they can be with you. So what you're asking for that moment, you don't want them to hurt. That's the outer layer. That's the cover, let's say. What you really want when you go inside is for them to understand your hurt, is for them to be there with you with your hurt. That's what hate is about. So when you start understanding that when you feel hate, you're actually hurting in that moment. You feel misunderstood. That part of you feels misunderstood. It feels alone, in that you are seeking for empathy from the other person. Then what you're going to do automatically is that the first thing, you'll connect with that part. You'll feel into it. Excuse me. As you connect, automatically that need to hurt the other goes away, because you've done the first thing. You've been empathic with yourself. Then the second thing is that you will open up, because you need the other person, right? That's there. You will open up to the other person and you'll tell them, look, in this moment, this is how I am feeling. This is what happened. You can even tell them about the hate and everything that came up. And most people will be very fine with that, because they know themselves what hate is. And by letting yourself be free to be yourself, to experience you as you are, you're giving the other person that freedom too. So, number one, when it's feelings and emotions, don't take it literally. And number two, it's not about the other person. It never is. They're not personal. You'll see, the more you'll go into it, you'll see that it's the other person is just it's a canvas you projected an information on, if you wish, right? It's someone who's playing out a role for you so that you understand something about yourself. That's it. Otherwise, it's not about them. It's not literal. Don't take it literally. You have to go into yourself, feel into yourself, and see what it's telling you. And when it comes to hate, hate is about you wanting, is about you being hurt in that moment. There's a part of you that is hurt, that is alone, and that is looking for empathy, which means that it's looking for someone who can come be with that, with you, someone that can sit with you, someone that will just be there with you and understands your pain, because maybe they know it, or maybe they can relate to that pain through other experiences they had. That's what hate is about. And in that moment, you're also giving more information to yourself and to others about what hurts you. What is it that you don't want in this life, right? And you can come out of there. So it's like, it's a beautiful way to connect with other people, and connect with yourself, to tell other people what you want, what you don't like, to discover in yourself what you want, what you don't like, and become more open, and you know, creates a loving relationship through that. So if you have any questions or any comments, let me know down below. I'd love to know what is your relationship with hate. Let's open up, you know, and let's start talking about our own self, so that we can give the other people also the freedom to be themselves. And if you have a lot of hate in you, in the sense that you've repressed it maybe for so long and it's a lot, and you need someone to work with, then you can always book a session with me. There's a link down below. Ciao, ciao.